and good afternoon.
Hello.
It is October 19th, 2015. We're in Atlanta, Georgia at the Atlanta Metropolitan State College. My name is Dr. Rashanice Candy Tate. We're here interviewing for the Veterans Oral History Project for the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And the interviewer will be
Diamond Bradley. I am a student at Atlanta Metropolitan State College.
Speak up. So say it again for us.
My name is Diamond Bradley. I'm a student at Atlanta Metropolitan State College. And today I will be interviewing Cornell Pearson. I just want to thank you for letting me do today.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
First question I would like to ask you, when and where were you born?
I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Actually in the city of Atlanta.
And when?
1958.
Did you have any siblings?
I have two sisters and a brother.
What were you doing before you entered the service?
I was working for a bank in First Atlanta at that time, which became Wachovia, which became Bank of America in today's society.
Diamond, I may pass you some questions in case you missed.
Who were your parents, and what were their occupations, like their name?
My father was Roscoe Pearson and my mother was Ollie Wynn Pearson. My mother was a nutritionist. My father was a manager for Hartsfield Airport for the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
And he was also ex-military.
Okay. Which branch of the military?
Regrettably.
And which branch of the military did you serve?
I was served in the Navy.
Did you enlist or were you drafted?
I enlisted.
If you, since you enlisted, why did you choose that branch of the military?
Well, I chose that branch of service because it had all the interests that I was looking for in twofold intellectual stimulation as well as the ability to travel and meet and greet different people of the world.
Okay. What happened when you departed for training camp and like basic training and during your early days of training?
And I'm sorry, if you'll back up to question D on number 2.
Oh, he said the bank.
Okay. All right, sorry. I apologize.
So re-ask. What happened when you departed for training camp and during your early days of training?
Well, we departed from Hartsfield International Airport. We went straight by plane to Orlando, Florida, where we all boarded the plane and left. And we ended up in Orlando, Florida for training for about 14 weeks of enlisting training in the Navy.
What year was that?
1982. April Fool's Day, 1982.
April 1st. Do you recall any of your instructors? If so, what were they like?
My instructor was Company Commander Waters and Company Commanders Hargraves.
Did you receive any specialized training? If so, what?
Well, once graduating from boot camp, I went immediately to Corey Station, which was stationed in Pensacola, Florida, where I went to school for CT classes. Excuse me. And that stands for cryptology classes.
And that is?
Crypto is, how can I put this in? It's a secret school to learn how to encrypt, do codes and things of that nature.
Okay. How did you adapt to military life, including the physical regimen, barracks, food, and social life?
Well, military life was very easy to me because my mother ran our house like I was in the military. Everybody had to make their beds in the morning, take out the trash, and feed the dog Snoopy, which I grossly dislike. My dad was ex-Army, so he also followed that regiment. My entire family is from the military. Be on both sides, my mother and my father's side. My grandfather served in World War I, and all my uncles except one was in the military.
Can you give us your grandfather's name?
His name was Willis Wynn, W-Y-N-N. On my mother's side of the family.
Okay. Where did you serve?
Ooh, all over.
All over. Give us a few.
All right, China, Hong Kong, Japan, Philippines, Guam, Singapore, Hawaii, Canada, Egypt, Italy, Rome, Italy, Sardinia, Italy, Naples, Italy, in the Mediterranean, and Afghanistan, Cuba, Mexico, Bermuda, Tijuana. There's a lot of places. I'm sure I forgot a few, but I know. Oh, Africa, Lower Africa too, and Australia.
Okay.
And I think I'm forgetting a lot of them.
That's like 20. If you served abroad, well, of course you did, what were some of the memories that you experienced?
Of course, the women. They were always very, very memorable. But learning and listening to different languages, food, culture of each place I live in. It was a major adjustment because you were constantly moving about so much that you had to constantly figure out a way to fit in with other people and get to know them as quickly as possible. I meet people and I know people faster now than they ever get to know me. And I have to work on that because I take it for granted that they are learning as fast as I can about me, but they're not.
If you were in the front lines, what combat action did you witness?
Well, in the Navy, you're not on front line. If you're on ships, subs, and planes, you're not on front line. What you are is the intelligent part that gives the coordinates and get all the raw data and read all the reports to make sure that when it's time to execute those orders for the frontline people, which are soldiers, Marines, and SEALs and people of that nature, you give them the information that they need. It's called the intelligence that they need.
Okay, so you would say those were the duties if you were on.
Well, my duties was, some of the duties I can still talk about is just satellite communication
Okay.
and drone warfare.
Did you see any combat or?
Yes, when I was in Afghanistan, but we was out in the ocean.
How did you feel witnessing casualties and destruction?
Well, the Navy really don't see casualties unless we're fighting in a unit. Okay, so we wasn't actually, we were just there for support and to, these were conflicts. We were there just to drop people off, so to say. But we were armed.
Armed, okay. What kind of friendships and camaraderies did you form while serving and with whom?
Well, when I joined the military, I was always in a position of leadership. So the very first time I met someone named Lee Bailey, and we are still friends today. I have another friend named John King, and we're still friends today too. So there are a lot of lasting friendships.
Can I ask a question that's a little off? Were you guys like a diverse group? Was it kind of like cliques, like ranks only hung with certain ranks or?
Well, if you was in the Army or Marine Corps or the Air Force, yes. But in the Navy, everybody's with everybody.
Okay.
Because you know who outrank you, but it's not like that. You're so in such close proximity to each other that you really can't pull that, okay? You do what you do, your specialty, and that's what you was trained to do from school.
Okay.
So you socialize with anybody.
So it wasn't like no one discriminated?
That's no discrimination. That is very, very, very little discrimination in the military. And if it is, it'll be quickly dealt with.
I think you said something earlier to me about everyone is blue.
Yeah, in the Navy, everyone is blue. There are no colors in the Navy but blue.
So the friends that you mentioned earlier, how do you stay in touch? How did you stay in touch with family and friends back home?
Well, we wrote letters. I came home when I wanted to, and that was it. Or call them on the phone, wherever I was at. I couldn't get away with my position, but I could always talk to anybody I want to. If I was not on subs or if I was not,
Just in
obviously.
your free time.
Mhm.
What did you do for recreation or when you were off duty?
Recreation.
Recreation, excuse me.
Oh.
Like your hobby.
I read books. I'm a very aggressive person when it comes to the books. I love to read. I also like to write, so I journal all the time. Went out to the Navy clubs, which was boring, but we did that, We did that. We always had a sightseeing tour. Like when we was in Egypt, we went to see the pyramids. When I was in Rome, we went to the Vatican Church and had espresso in Italy, and went to the Louvre to see the Mona Lisa, which is very small. People think it's large, but it's not.
How do you spell that, Lou?
The Louvre, L-O-U, is that right? I think it's L-O-U.
V-R-E. It's L-O-U-V-R-E.
Oh.
V-R-E. But it's a double click. It's a space and a double click over it. And what that was a palace at one time, okay, of the King Louis Versailles. I think it was Napoleon and Guinevere Palace at one time. Also to the Vatican Church, the area it was in, used to be an old arena, Olympic arena too. That's why it's in that shape right now.
Yeah. So where were you when the war ended? And the war that he participated in?
It was Afghanistan. It's still going on today.
Okay.
It never ended. It was a conflict. It was not a war. It was a conflict. That's what they call it. So it's still going on today. And it's also with Iran and Iraq, that was going on during that time too. It just got escalated when President Bush got into office, even more.
So the time frame that you participated in war was when to when?
From 82 all the way up to 87. They're always, the United States is always in conflict with somebody.
How did you return home, if you could?
I flew out of Italy. Let's see, what did I do? I flew out of Italy by plane. Is that what you asked?
Yes.
By plane and flew into New York, stayed there for a few days. And then I flew out to San Francisco to meet a girlfriend of mine. Stayed there a couple of weeks, and then I came to Georgia because I wasn't coming back. I had Georgia Silicon Valley, so I was going to go back there to work.
How were you received by your family and your community or your friends when you came back home?
They knew I had changed. They didn't know how, but they knew I had changed. Because the conversation at the level that they was talking about, I had no clue about what the things that was funny to them was not funny to me. The thing they talk about, I had no interest in because my mindset was still where I was just left.
Right.
Okay, the military and regiment and all that stuff once it's in you, you never get out of it. It's just there. It's drilling you.
How did you readjust to civilian life since that was still in your mindset?
What I did is I went to work immediately with the I went back to work to the bank, and I stayed there for about, and working in securities. And then after I went back to work with the Department of the Navy, the VA, Department of Veteran Affairs. At that time, it was on 730 Peachtree Street, but now it's in Decatur, Georgia. So I worked there as a moved all the way up to an educational case manager.
I think this was the question I was
Excuse me.
trying to get at earlier. So you have remained in contact with your fellow veteran friends and stuff like that. If so, who? Because you mentioned 2 people. Do you still see them from time to time?
I see him. I saw Lee last weekend. Yeah, I see him all the time. Too much, I think. You know.
Are you a member of any veteran organization?
Yeah, the VEO, the Veterans like out of Darwin National Base. I remember that. And the organizations here at school.
Okay.
What are some of those?
Yeah.
Here at school, we have the Veterans Club here. I was the first secretary for the Veterans Club here when we first started. Also, I'm just a member of the Veterans Association out at Darwin Air Force Base.
Okay. What have you done since separating from the military?
Okay, I worked on the job and for the federal government. I presently am in college. I started work to go back to college to complete a degree in mass communication and start on the second half of my degree in digital communication. I also work for Georgia Public Broadcasting, where I'm a team member, lead team member and captain for in broadcasting, be it radio or television sides and pledges.
Okay, pretty big in
I'm also the president of the National Society of Leadership and Success. I'm the student government secretary as of this week. I'm the secretary of student government. What else I am? I try my best to get straight A's in my classes. But that's about it. Oh, I'm the secretary for the Urban League Guild of Greater Atlanta for the entire state of Atlanta, of Georgia.
Okay. That's a lot.
I keep busy. When I say I'm busy, I am busy.
And do you think that has to do with having that military mindset where you're always...
I think that has a part of it, but I've always been like that.
It's
I
just
think
your nature.
It's just my nature.
Okay.
I'm very interested in different things to make a difference.
Well, okay, so how did the wartime experiences affect your life?
It improved my journaling skill. It improved my ability to get along with people that I cannot stand, but I found a way to get along with them, okay? Met a few prejudiced people, but, learn how to deal with them, because some people you just can't change, What I really do like the most about the military, it gave me a sense of country, per se.
Nationalism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what are some life lessons you learned from the military service?
Be punctual, give your word, and learn your job. When you're in school, we go to Navy, go to school all the time. So when you're in school, go to school and take it seriously because you're going to use that information in life. You may not use it right away, but you will use it. Sooner or later, you will use it.
So how has your military service impacted your feelings about war and the military in general?
I feel war is a necessary evil.
War isn't?
Is a necessary evil.
Can you expand on that?
Well, sometimes you're going to have to go to war. Sometimes you're going to have to do what you have to do. You have to kill people. You have to stop whatever invading forces that's coming in on your homeland where you are. So it's a necessary evil. There will always be war, whether you like it or not.
War or conflict?
Well, now that's different. Conflict is we're just going over there to take care of a situation. A war is when the United States actually declare war on a country. We haven't declared war on the country since, I think it was Korea, when the last time we really declared, no, that was a conflict. So it's been a very long time since we declared war on anybody. World War II.
What message would you like to leave for the future generations who will hear or view this interview?
Whoever you are, be it male or female, I truly believe that you need to stand for something and stand for something that is right. I feel that if you're not doing anything with your life, join the military. There are plenty of opportunities there for you. I feel that whatever you start, complete it. This is a great country. All you have to do is step outside of it just a few seconds, you will realize how great it is. But a lot of people who live in this country don't really know that because they never step outside of their front door, but they always complain. If you're not going to be a part of the solution, then don't be a part of the problem. Make your life count, because it's the only one you have.
Is there anything you feel like we haven't discussed or that should be added to this interview if so what?
I feel that you haven't discussed the role of women in the military. They are great. They do a great job. They really are a necessary part of our economy. The world loves to see American women. They don't understand American women, but they love seeing them because it gives women in foreign countries who are still on the bondage. A lot of women in this country take their big mouth for granted and say what they want to say, but you would not be saying that in the other countries. So if we promote seeing more women in the military, I think it'll be a balance of people, male and female energy here in this country. You know, to see how people really see you in your country. It's all right to have women's live, but know that you're special because you got special rights in the United States that guarantee you to do what you want to do. You will have to walk 3 feet behind a man in some countries today, and you won't be permitted to say anything unless the man speaks. I remember when I was living in China, in Hong Kong, this woman was in charge of everything, and she had to wait till a male said something who was below her, then she could say something. So I remember leaving out the office, and I said, "Why didn't you say anything?" She said, "Well, in my country, the male takes the lead and he has to speak first, and I don't want to insult him." I said, "But you're in charge." She said, "I know that. That's my country." So in this country, you have privilege.
Mr. Cornell, did you have any women as supervisors?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what was their? How did your experience and say others?
Yes, you say yes, ma'am, and you go ahead and do your mission. You know what your job is. It's nothing personal. Even if it was I didn't have any enlisted at that time because the service was not that open for women at that point as it is today. But you had female officers, you know.
One question I would like to ask: do you get offended when students or individuals say, "Oh, that's a student veteran," or "That's a veteran student," or anything affiliated like that? Because I was reading something that makes, when people say that towards veterans, it makes them feel.
What do you mean?
I was reading a dissertation, and it was saying that when veterans join college, they're automatically clicked off to their fellow veterans. And so, because people automatically put that label on them as a student veteran or a veteran student, or they have various names for them, and they get offended by it, so they only stay within their veteran circle.
Well, that's not me. I don't feel that's me. There are some veterans who are like that, and there are some people who would never serve their country who are like that. The only thing that I found offensive, this happened to me the other day, is when a student say, "We are soldiers, and you never served your country. Also, when you told me I'm a soldier, I am not a soldier. I am a squid. I joined the Navy. So if you had joined your country, military, and served, you would know that would have been highly offensive to me. But because I know that person didn't know any better, I didn't take it offensively. Okay. I don't believe in cliques. I don't. That's just my personality. As you probably know, I fit in with everybody. You know, I walk right up to you and talk to you. It doesn't bother me. Okay. But for some veterans, that is really, really hard. But it's easier to get along with veterans because you already have something in common. You already have something established. You already went through something, as opposed to a lot of students here that I see who wasting a valuable education here at this school, not doing what they're supposed to do. You know, I find it appalling that I see students that's use grant money and think that's the world and not realize the prize is the degree. You know, once you get there, you can go anywhere you want to go, but the sky's the limit. Just like being in the military, once you get out with an honorable discharge, the sky's the limit. What you want to do is get out with an honorable discharge, and that is the college education for a veteran. They have an honorable discharge, which is very hard to do because the military career is a very fragile degree. Anyone that's walk up and just say, hey, I don't like you, and they can just constantly get you, if you're not in control of your emotions and what you're doing, they can really ruin your career and lose your clearances. Because there's a lot of jobs that require top secret clearances.
So, do you feel like the military, putting African Americans in the military or promoting the military towards African Americans will help the community or the African American community? Or
Well, yes. Look through history. Look throughout from the beginning of this country. We have served. African Americans have served this country and served it very well. It's a myth to say that you should not join the military. I think that's a myth. You should join the military. It's your country. You live here. Why not help protect it? And that's jobs that's not going to put you on the front line if that's what you're scared of. Because a lot of people want to be on the front line. A lot of people want to do that. For those who want to do that, do it, you know. But it's a myth. I feel everybody should serve that country. Everybody. Then you will have a different respect of it.
do you think we should bring the draft back?
No, you don't have to join the draft, right? You know, just join. You like a lot of countries, just volunteer. I think if you just do 2 years, and then you can get like I used to educate veterans towards the Montgomery GI Bill, how to go about applying for it, what you get. I used to pay the veterans every day. When they call all over the country, I used to have let's listen to their complaints and try my best to solve their problems by writing them letters, cold draft letters, and sending out to them to make sure they got it done. Get in contact with their congressmen if they had problems. If you know that, you will understand the structure of things. That's why I think that it's good for students here at this college to join student government, so you know what it's all about. A lot of our students don't have a clue nowadays of what's going on. And unfortunately, as African Americans, we are being left behind because we don't want to join nothing. It is so hard to get us to join something. So you join the military, it builds your confidence, it makes you more aware of things. It speeds up your educational process, whether you know it or not. It really does, you know, because you get in that classroom and you know you got to do good to get this grade.
So what do you think some myths are about the military in general and the Navy that not only African Americans but just individuals might think?
Let everybody get out the military, they're crazy, and they are not. That's the biggest myth in the world. That being in the Navy is only for white boys or for people who cannot swim, which is another myth, okay? If you can't swim, we would teach you how to float. If you can't float, we would teach you how to swim. But we would teach you what you need to do in order to survive out there in the middle of the ocean. So those are myths, okay? In the Navy, everything is a specialty. So you're gonna have a job, a specific job you want to do. There are other duties, but you're gonna have a job that you do, and you better be damn good at it. And it's ongoing criteria of learning. So in essence, when you join the military, you would know that life is about learning. You're gonna learn. You got to learn if you're gonna keep up. Like all this stuff, like when President Obama said at the beginning of this year that, you know, he would like to have 2 years free for anybody to go to college, he hit the nail on the hammer. Hit the hammer with the nail, so to speak, because you need education nowadays. You cannot live in this world nowadays without being able to read, to write well, and to be assertive. And I think the military does a very good job in teaching those skills to you.
I wanted to back up a little bit and ask you just because I've only interviewed one other person who's been in the Navy, and so I've heard many, boot camp stories from the Army or whatever, but not from the Navy. If you can just share with me again, where did you go to boot camp?
I attended Orlando, Florida, and we had women and men. Our company, our sister company, was trained right along with us, but in a different base. It was in Orlando, Florida, during we started April the 1st, and we went for like 14 weeks after that. I remember coming home the week of 4th of July, back to Georgia. So it was hard. You got along with people. You had to do what you had to do, you know. One person messed up, everybody got worked out, you know, sweats, you name it, it happened, you know. But we became a team. If somebody wasn't smart enough, you helped that person learn their lesson for that day. So because you were a team. The problem I see with America nowadays is that we don't know how to be a team no more. It's always me, I'm gonna get mine, all this crazy stuff, and not realizing that you don't get yours unless somebody else has theirs too. Because if you're a millionaire, who are you gonna hang out with if nobody else is a millionaire? See? Because you have the same mentality. So you got to get to that point that you have the same mentality as everybody else. And the Navy does a really good job of that. You're going to be on a sub, you're going to be in a plane, or you're going to be on a ship. Where are you going to go? You know? You got to think about that. Where are you going to go? If you don't like somebody, then what you going to do? You're going to learn how to get along with that person, whether you like it or not. You will need to learn how to get along with that person through avoiding that person, only dealing with that person when it's in a group setting, or deal with that person when it's only on where you can do your job. That's it. But you got to deal with that person.
Did you select you mentioned, was it satellite, or was that?
I scored real high on all my tests. All my tests, I scored real high, and I thought that would be the best thing for me. Satellite communication, and it was the best thing for me.
And then, Diamond, are you familiar? Do you want more explanation about Afghanistan and the war and why the conflict?
It's a lot I can't still talk about. Like I said,
because it's still
about my job. It's still classified,
right?
And I'm still investigating. I still have my top secret clearances.
Right.
That's why when I saw this opportunity today to go overseas again, because I was going back, once I graduated here, I was going back to work with the State Department again. I'm like, wow, here it is for me again, you know.
So they want you, because you have specialized training.
The way she talked, yes, because I asked the question about the military, do you get special? They said yes, that is a minority they want.
Mm-hmm.
So that, being black and male, is 3 shoe-ins, and I'm learning French, so it's a shoe-in.
Did you learn other languages and
Well, I was studying Cantonese, and I was studying Mandarin when I was in China, but I didn't get enough time. They wanted me to re-enlist, but I didn't want to re-enlist.
Okay. And I had it was a question, because I know we've talked about the women in the military, and just if you had seen or had a position on the don't ask, don't tell policy.
What are you asking?
Just, had you seen it happen, or what?
You don't ask. You mind your business.
Okay.
Whomever what they are, what they do is what they do. It's none of your business. You mind your business.
And we're speaking. You said that don't
ask,
Be
don't
it
tell.
down to gay people.
Right.
You already know who gay. You always knew. Nobody cared. Only thing we care about is you doing your job. That's all we care about. We know who is gay. We did not care. That came about with civilians and promoting their agenda like they're doing right now. Military always knew who was gay.
And it's just, like you say, just do your job.
Do your job and keep your mouth closed.
In countries that you visited, what was their feeling about Americans?
But when I was in Japan, I was from a black perspective. They were like, "You should have used a lot of water." I said, "Yes, we take baths." "Oh, I thought y'all take baths once a week, and I thought y'all had tails." I said, "Do you have a tail? Are you human?" They
And
said,
what
"Yes."
country were you in?
Japan. Japan is very racist, especially to black people. But they couldn't handle it because we were cut above and they couldn't handle that. China is racist too when it comes to black people. So it's an age-old story. The darker the skin, the more people don't like it. You deal with it. I was raised in the South. I don't care you don't like me. I don't care you prejudice. I don't care. So when I go to France, they say, "Why you want to go to France? It's prejudice." I said, "No prejudice in the South. I can wear a school outfit right in, you know." It's prejudice here. I mean, it's going to be racism everything you do. You deal with it. I would not eat any dog, though. They were cooking dog. I would not eat that. Mm-mm.
So what is the most outrageous thing you've seen and thing you've eaten in the military?
Most outrageous. Now, I have eaten a lot of crazy stuff because I'm a foodie. I like to taste different things. Pufferfish is very poisonous, okay? And it blows up and it's got, it'll kill you. You have to know a special way, open it up and everything. And that was in China when I was in Hong Kong during the Christmas holidays. That was crazy. Okay, sauteed squid with squid ink in it. That was the most different thing I ever had when I was in Italy. When I was in Africa, I had covered chocolate ants, giant ants. It was different, very crunchy. And I had fried hoppergrass. It's protein. You know, because when you're in a village, you don't want to be disrespectful to the king or the chief or whoever you in. So you do what they got to do. You mimic them.
Do what the Romans did.
That's right. When I was in Rome, oh wow, it was crazy. I'm just gonna say the red light district was the craziest place I ever been in my life.
The red light?
Yes. District.
Do you know what that is?
No, I do not. What is that like
It's the street of ill repute, let me put it that way, for your film. Did you get it?
Yes.
And most of the time in the Navy, that's where most of the sailors go. Be it male or female.
In history, and even in, say, in New Orleans, if there was a red light on, that meant that was a house that you could go to for sex.
What is some of the traditions in the countries and the places that you've been that you thought were very interesting? And
I forgot I told you, I went to Germany, so that was very different. Germany, they decorated Christmas trees, snow is, people in foreign countries will invite you to spend the night at their house and you don't even know them. Which was that always happened in Italy. It happened in Germany, Australia, especially Australia. They are waiting on the pier for your ship to come in.
So more so because you're military,
Right.
not just...
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you're military, but more so because you're American. People in this world really respect African American people, but I don't call myself African American. I'm Negro or black.
you're the
What?
opposite of Ravens.
Correct.
That's great.
But I really call myself human. Go ahead.
What was your favorite place? favorite country?
Okay, wow. When I went skiing in Italy, between Naples and Rome, that was one of my fun times. I really had a good time doing that. Unfortunately, I was only flying all the buttermilk, but that's me. I'm always that way. I was that way in high school. I'm that way now. So that's just the way it is because of my interests. One of my favorite places was, it was this song called, this artist was named Luther Vandross, and he had a song called On the Other Side of the World. You know, I woke up and I was in China for the very first time, and I was playing the song On the Other Side of the World by Luther Vandross, and I really did know that I was tall then, because everybody's shorter than me in China. I'm only 5'5". I am tall there. And their the Providence, China, down on Kowloon side of Benway Piers, is very, very poor. It's not what they show the world. And we had, because we're military, we had escorts. They followed us all around and everywhere, make sure we couldn't go or ask a question. We asked what's in that building. They like to see the building, you know. But the building's standing right there, you know. You know, so, you know, it was a different experience. Just so many things I have done that you just bring up a lot of memories that I can't really say. Okay, we was at this place in China. It was called The Bull and the Bear, and the locals couldn't play. They wanted to play Christmas music, but they had a piano, but they couldn't play the piano. So I played the piano for them, and we sing American songs. They really wanted to learn English, so we spoke English. But I was there to learn Cantonese. Excuse me. So it was pretty cool. They kept buying drinks. Said, no, I don't eat anything to drink. They kept buying food because they just want me to keep playing. But I got tired, you know. And when I get tired, I just stop. You know, I'm like, look, I'm not playing anymore. You know. But it was pretty cool. Oh, when I was in Mexico, down in Mazatlan, we went to this place called Senor Frogs, and we ate giant frogs down there, frog legs, and drank margaritas. And I don't drink margaritas today.
Because of that.
Excuse me. And the Philippines were very nasty. It was just nasty. You just stand up and sweat. I mean, you just sweat. That's how hot it is. We didn't go out until I get off of work, take a shower, go to bed, wake up at 12 o'clock at night, and then we go party.
That's a life.
So you adjust.
You mentioned you journaled.
Yeah.
Now, is that creative writing, or
Well,
was it sensitive material that we can't ask you about? Or?
Oh, well, no. My journal is named Enlisting, okay? After Langston Hughes, and I've been doing it ever since I was 13 years. So it helps me to stay in contact with myself. Also, it helps me, like when I was in the military, you use so much jargon and profanity that I didn't want that to be a part of me. So I journal all the time to make sure I kept my English level really high, because I really do like the spoken word. So that's why I journal. I also journal because when I was growing up, you didn't talk back to your parents. So you can write whatever you want to. You can say whatever you want to say in your mind, but you better not say it out loud. You know.
Right.
So that was the way it was. You know.
See how you could get it out now.
Expression.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we're, land animals. Tell us about being on a ship. That's kind of, we're taking it for granted, but, for someone who
Okay, I was
doesn't
on
know
a
that.
fast frigate, and that pitch a lot with the waves and everything. So you go up and down, and when it's heavy seas, you have to batten down all the hatches and everything. You have to constantly exercise because you have to stay a certain side in order to go through all the hatches and everything, doing watertight integrity. When I was on a LSD, that's a landing ship docking. When the back of the ship opened up, you probably seen it, and all the Marines run out in their little boats and everything and go do what they have to do. It's a more stable wide because it has a flat bottom, but the ocean is huge. If you don't have the coordinates, you would never find a ship out there. You can get lost at sea. That is literally true. When I was on the USS Kennedy and telecommunication, radio and telecommunication, it was It was a smoother ride. It's just like being on a, if you ever been on a cruise liner, it's smoother, but it's only bigger. And it's not as glamorous, you know. But, you know, being on the ship with a bunch of guys, you don't want to be on the ship, unless you're a woman. You don't want to be on the ship with a lot of guys. They complain all the time. They act worse than women.
And the men and women, you're on separate ships. They're not, or are they integrated
you have
ships?
you're on the same ship, but you have
You're on
separate
areas.
departments. And the women's are restricted. But somewhere or another, there's always some guys who end up in there, okay? Okay.
Find their
or
way.
vice versa, okay? So, you know, that's what, it's just human nature, you know? It's human nature. When I was on subs, you have to know everything on the sub, how to steer it, everything. Everybody is really in command, because you never know what's going to happen, you know? And it was an interesting experience. It was huge. You never thought about you up on the ocean, nor when you was on ships, you never thought about you was out at sea. You did your job from 9 to 5. We set the lights, you know, it's time to set the lights, so you keep your rotation of the sun and all that going on. So you really didn't bother you. Fish, you have, if you're down in the Caribbean, you have flying fish that will fly up on the ship, so you grab them and take them down to the cook, and they'll cook them. They'll saute them and everything for you. Dolphins used to follow the sonar of the ship. Whales will go right past you. They just enjoy the sounds of the ship. So there will be a whole school of whales. I mean, huge whales. I mean, like, this thing is huge, you know, and it's alive and it has its own mind, you know. So we used to peer over the bow and everything, look at the whales pass by. Let's see.
So you would go out for how long?
6 months.
6 months.
Sometime longer. Depends on the mission. Sometimes it can be 3 months. It depends on the mission.
But then you stop into these different.
You have ports that you stop
okay.
in. The best duty is on sub.
Okay.
Best duty. Carriers don't get the best duty because they're too large to come into most of the ports, so they have to stay anchor way out, and you take Liberty boats into the shore. And carriers came more. The smaller ships that come on in and more against the pier and everything like that.
And so the native women enjoyed waiting for you, the American sailors to come in, I
Yes.
imagine.
And they knew when we came in before we knew. And I was in communication. They knew. Yeah, they'll be waiting. Yeah.
So just to be seen, or
Yes. Well, a lot of people who join the military end up marrying foreigners, okay? Because that's what you do, you know? You marry foreigners. You marry whoever you dare with, you know?
You're away for 6 months. Do the math.
You do what you do, you know?
A lot of times.
Also, too, we have a lot of schooling. We have professors that come aboard ships and teach, and they like ride along with us. They make a very nice salary for doing that. Most of the time, it's duty-free money, be it English, math, skills, science, you name it, you know. But everything is so high-tech now that, you know, they can still do that, but you can get a whole college degree out at sea in less than what it takes to go to school regularly nowadays from any university.
That's a cool. I never thought about that, people teaching on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So how else would you learn when you're not on land? Like you're away from everything. And like keeping up with what's going on academically and socially, economically. It's like you're so far away, but you're still.
The military is its own entity. We do not have to be bothered with anybody. You can just be totally blocked off from everybody, and you would never know what's going on in civilian life, because it's always something going on. There's always activities. There's always somewhere to go. There's always something to learn. You know, so it's its own entity within itself.
Okay. My
A lot
last.
of people join the military and they never get out. When they get 20 years, 20, 30 years, and then they get out, they like scared to death to get out because that's all they know. Most of them die. Statistically, it's been done to proven that once they get out, they die. Because they can't fit into regular society no more. Society is so, it's not structured enough for them because nowadays if you just look around, anything goes. But in the military, anything don't go, you know. You do what you're supposed to do. You know, there's a reason why you're doing it. And if you don't do it, you can either kill yourself or kill a number of other people. Ships are very dangerous. You got a lot of nuclear information on there. You got a whole lot of other things that's on ships. So you really need to be smart and pay attention. And whenever you go out anywhere in the world, you always have the two-man rule, at least. You never go anywhere by yourself. Because American once someone grab a U.S. soldier, have you noticed that it's all on the news?
Yes.
Because they can hold them hostages at that point in the United States. We will negotiate, but basically on your own. Because you should know better.
Than to be out there by yourself.
Correct.
All right. Okay. I had one last question about coming back and, as you say, fitting in, and just how you feel the United States, because you said you work with the Veterans Affairs Office. So how is the country doing? How is we as civilians doing towards helping veterans reintegrate or get the services that they need? Or
It's a very slow process, and I really hate that. When I work for the Department of the Navy here in Atlanta, I really hate that there's a lot of things that go on that still haven't come to light. It's a slow process, but I do think that veterans should be given better opportunities as opposed we're just not getting there, you know. There's somebody who stood their neck on the line for this country, you know. Yeah, they joined. Said, well, a lot of people who never joined said, well, you signed up, you joined. But if somebody don't join, who will? And what will protect this country? You know, people don't realize how every day there is a threat on this country. People don't even believe it. Why? Because somebody out there on watch saying, I'm on watch, I'm on duty, and I'm going to protect this country. And I wish a little bit more that civilian will understand that. It's good to say thank you for serving our country. I mean, cool, fine. But give me a free education. Let me go to school, you know, don't me have to just put my money into this and go to school when I'm out here serving my country. Less than 1% of American population serve that country. It's like 0.001 serve that country. Then you got people all over always complaining about this country or complaining about veterans. Oh, y'all crazy, better leave them alone. They live in the military. You know, no, we're not crazy. We look at y'all as being crazy because you don't know what a privilege it is to live here. Be it black or white, Asian, because there's other minorities here, you know. You have a lot of Indian population join, indigenous people join the service.
And it's just a Native American.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Cornell, we thank you for your time this afternoon.
Well,
thank you for your service.
Thank you, and I thank you for this interview. It was a pleasure for me to talk. I haven't thought about things like this in a very long time, you know.
And what I'll do is I'll get a copy for Diamond to give to you as well.
Are you going to edit it down?
Probably we'll just give you the raw footage.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.